In what is the local skirmish with the worldwide interest, Liverpool can rarely have entered a game with Manchester United from such a place of superiority as they do this weekend. It's first against 14th at Anfield on Sunday, with the recently appointed Ruben Amorim fresh from a December from hell that saw his Red Devils lose as many as 6 times. A 2-1 victory in the Manchester derby aside, it was a sobering few weeks for the Portuguese coach, who has already admitted that job security is a pervading thought of his given the wretched period United are enduring just now. It's not of his making directly, but the lack of upturn usually associated with the arrival of a new manager, particularly one as highly regarded as the former Sporting coach, has been surprising. The unwillingness to deviate from a 3-man backline and some curious midfield selections have contributed to a lack of progress. But Slot made sure he didn't add to the pile on for a team who United legend Gary Neville labelled pound for pound the worst in the country during their 2-0 loss to Newcastle United on Monday. On the contrary, Slot was complimentary to United and Amorim in general, with the head coach remarking, "I think you always worry a bit as a manager when you start at a new club. Not if you come in, but if you are still at the same club next summer, you are asking where you are exactly in pre-season, and maybe even a bit more if come into a new club with the challenges of changing the playing style when you don't have the time to train on the pitch as much as you'd like." I think, for every manager, that is not the ideal world. But the good thing is he has quality players, and he will find a way to make it work. Hopefully not on Sunday, but he has already shown it a few times, for example Manchester City away and some other games when the results didn't go their way, but the performance wasn't as bad as the results showed. They are able to make it difficult for any team at the moment. The unwillingness to throw a jab in the direction of the club with whom his own has its most fierce rivalry was in keeping with the sort of personality that has won over so many supporters since he breezed through the door over the summer. But the patting of the head and rubbing of the belly also shows just how far apart the two sides are now. Slot doesn't need to rattle the cage of a United squad who are already hurting, and he knows it is counterproductive to say anything inflammatory that might give a squad sapped of confidence something to rage against when they come across the M62 this weekend. Kill them with kindness instead. The man himself would probably never let on, but it would be fascinating to know how much of such pleasantries are genuine and how much is talked up to lull into a false sense of security. The Liverpool boss does not immediately strike as someone who indulges in the fabled mind games that managers of this fixture have done at times over the years, but comments made before the 6-3 demolition of Tottenham last month were instructive. Slot was at pains to stress how much he admired Ange Postecoglou's unwavering commitment to an adventurous, front-footed approach. And when the Spurs boss did exactly that 2 days later, Liverpool ran riot, delivering the sort of blistering attacking performance that would have made Slot's opposite number green with envy. Is Slot doing the same here? Is he really fearful of a wounded United striking a huge blow to the Reds' title hopes? Or is it actually a way of ensuring there is no additional motivation for a team at their lowest ebb for quite some time just now? Slot is surely too respectful to give you his most uncompromising take on a downtrodden United who arrive on Merseyside in shambles, but you can bet your last pound that the cop will on Sunday afternoon. It's time to show the world exactly why there are more points between them than the total amassed by United. Ruben Amorim might head to Anfield this weekend with a sense of what might have been. The Portuguese coach takes his struggling Manchester United team to Merseyside on Sunday. The Red Devils have lost their last 4 games, with the former Sporting Lisbon boss already under huge pressure. The same cannot quite be said of Liverpool boss Arne Slot, who has the Reds sitting pretty at the top of the Premier League and the clear favourites to claim the title. It begs the question whether the same would have happened had the Merseysiders followed up on their interest in Amorim. The 39-year-old was identified as one of the front-runners for their managerial vacancy following Jurgen Klopp's exit. And he looked to be a fantastic candidate, given the excellent work he had done with Braga and Sporting Lisbon. He had the reputation as one of the most promising young managers in Europe, so a swoop was certainly exciting. Unfortunately for Amorim, He lost out to Slot after Liverpool agreed compensation with his former club Feyenoord. And there was a very good reason for Liverpool going in a different direction: disagreements over his tactics. Amorim has long been wedded to his 3-4-3 approach. And while that is somewhat valid given the success he enjoyed with his former clubs, Liverpool wanted more tactical flexibility. And they have got exactly that with Slot, who has taken the 4-2-3-1 employed by predecessor Klopp, with only slight differences. Meanwhile, Amorim's reliance on his ideology has already become a major talking point at Old Trafford. But the Portuguese is determined to stick by his tactical approach. Maybe, or you continue with your idea and they have to change the coach, he said recently. I was here because of my idea, and I will continue to do my idea until the end. It would not be beyond the realms of possibility to suggest that there would have been similar teething issues for Amorim at Anfield should he had become Liverpool boss. The Reds would have required a complete tactical reset, and that would have seen some of their brightest stars this season potentially struggle to have the same impact. Ryan Gravenberch has thrived in a more deep-lying role this term, a position that might not have been afforded to him under Amorim. Meanwhile, Cody Gakpo has shone on the left, but may not have been handed that position by the Portuguese. Amorim may also have required heavy investment in the transfer market to acquire players to fit into his system. Slot in the meantime has been frugal. Federicochiesa and Georgi Mamardashvili the only signings he has made so far. But all of those decisions are now elementary, given Amorim is now the man who will be trying to get the better of Slot when it comes to his tactics, and while he might have a sense of what might have been before the game, he is now forced to focus on what currently is. Liverpool have enjoyed a near-perfect start to the new season, with the Premier League title firmly in their sights. Arne Slot has the Reds sitting 6 points clear at the top of the table after a stunning start to the campaign. And while they are in fine fettle, a few smart signings could go some way to getting them over the line and handing the Dutchman the title in his debut season on Merseyside. Liverpool have already been linked with a host of stars, but it remains to be seen whether they choose to invest heavily. Club chiefs also have some thinking to do regarding their current stars. Virgil-van-Dijk, Mohamed Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold are all out of contract in the summer. January represents Liverpool's final chance to earn big fees for the trio. Academy graduate Alexander-Arnold is wanted by Real Madrid, and a £20 million bid has already been rejected, while new contracts are on the table for all three. Salah and Van Dijk are both prioritising new deals on Merseyside, but there is more uncertainty over the England ace. Take a look at the side Liverpool could field come February. Starting in goal, Alisson Becker seems sure to remain between the sticks. Liverpool are highly unlikely to replace him given Georgi Mamardashvili is set to arrive in the summer. There could be one tweak in defence. It seems unlikely that the Reds would happily sell either of Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold at this stage, so both should remain in the side for the foreseeable future. Another centre-back could potentially be useful given the ongoing issues suffered by Joe Gomez and Ibrahima Konate. Bayer Leverkusen star Piero Hincapié is a long-term target, so could potentially be drafted in. Left-back Andrew Robertson would round off a talented defence, but Hincapié is also capable at full-back, offering an extra solution there too. Given Ryan Gravenberch's standout displays for Liverpool this season, there might not be that much need for midfield reinforcements. But they could yet revisit a former target. Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi almost moved to Anfield in the summer, but eventually rejected a switch to Merseyside. He has once again been linked with a move to the Premier League, albeit Arsenal are the main contenders for his services. As stated, it's not necessarily needed, particularly with Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones all around too. But the extra option, one seemingly deemed necessary in pre-season, would just add further depth and quality as they chase Premier League and European glory. Dutch forward Cody Gakpo has been in great form this season and appears to have the left flank secured, just ahead of Luis Diaz, dependent on who is most in form. Salah is, of course, an automatic pick down the right. The Egyptian has enjoyed a sensational season thus far, and he could potentially be joined by one of his international teammates at Anfield, enjoying a standout season themselves. Eintracht Frankfurt star Omar Marmoush has been touted for a big move after his eye-catching goal-scoring form. He already has 18 goals this term, so would add to Slot's attacking options, particularly with question marks over Darwin Núñez's long-term future at the club. Marmoush would allow Núñez to depart, either on loan or permanently, while keeping Diogo Jota in situ. Salah has entered the final 6 months of his contract and has not shied away from putting public pressure on Liverpool. The Egypt international claimed to be more out than back in November and later insisted that he was playing his last game against Manchester City at Anfield. Now, in the final 6 months of his existing deal, Salah is free to discuss a contract with clubs overseas. The 32-year-old claimed in an interview with Sky Sports News that his focus is on winning the title with Liverpool, but admitted his desire stems from the fact his time with the Reds is coming to an end. In my interviews over the last 7 or 8 years, I always say, I want to win the Champions League, but this is the first time I'm saying I really want to win the Premier League with Liverpool, he began. Asked to explain why domestic success was now more important to him, Salah replied, I have no idea. It's probably because we didn't celebrate the one we won in the way we wanted, and also, coming back here too, it's my last year in the club, so you want to do something special for the city. The gravity of Salah's comments was soon highlighted as the Egyptian was asked whether he truly believes this is his final year with Liverpool. So far, yes, Salah said. It's the last 6 months. There is no progress there. We are far away from any progress. So, we just need to wait and see. The thing in my head is that if this is the last 6 months, what do you want to see in the future? Do you want to look back and say I was concerned or stressed about the contract? Or do you just want to say I had an unbelievable season? That's what is in my head. If I ever feel distraction, I just remind myself I want to look back and say I had an unbelievable season. That's what I want to do.